It's quite obvious to me, especially based on this tech bill and also the bipartisan anti-China sentiment across the political aisle. But at the end of the day, I think this tech bill should be looked at on a standalone basis and also in parallel with other initiatives the U.S. is taking towards how to deal with China. I am hoping that if this tech bill is intended to be competitive with China, not confrontational, I think at the end of the day, it could be good for both countries. This is more like an equivalent of China's Made in China 2025 initiative, so to speak. At the end of the day, like in sports, you can only make yourself stronger and faster by competing with a strong and fast player in a level playing field, rather than resting on your laurels and trying to make a competitor weak. So for the humankind and for both countries, as far as this bill is concerned, the best case scenario or the outcome I am hoping to see is that there will be two, if not more, technologically strong powerhouses that can learn to work with and hopefully even benefit from each other on a moving forward basis.
What about those, though, who are concerned about a possible new Cold War between the U.S. and China? You hear that a lot. What's your take?
Yeah. For me, from my perspective personally, I definitely don't want to see a Cold War either on the technology front or on the political front between China and the U.S. Because I think these two countries more than ever integrated, very closely integrated with each other in a still increasingly globalized world. Like I said, right, moving forward, I don't think that this bill should be looked at and executed on a standalone basis, but it should be combined with other efforts made by the U.S. in dealing with China, such as those in diplomacy, private sector collaboration, and cultural exchanges. So as long as there's an understanding on both sides that the intended goal of the bill is to make the U.S. more competitive, remain its #1 position on the technology front, but not necessarily at the expense of China losing out or China's work to catch up in technology, as long as the two countries can learn to work with each other, compete with each other fair and square, and even learn from the best practices of each other. I am optimistic about the future outlook of what this bill is trying to achieve. So I think this bill, at the end of the day, by making a lot of investment in the technology field on the U.S. side, would be good for not only for the U.S. but hopefully for the world as well.
You mentioned both of these countries very much integrated. That's certainly the case. But we did see under the Trump administration an effort to kind of go in the area of decoupling. Is it your concern that that's still kind of the avenue that we're seeing political leaders in this country kind of going down?
I think what the Biden administration is doing or is trying to achieve could go in both directions on a moving forward basis. So if they are taking a more rational approach, more globalist approach, I would think, I'm hoping for the best outcome coming out of it, rather than like a Cold War kind of scenario. But I think they are taking still a quite different approach from the Trump administration, a totally decoupling kind of approach. But I think under the Biden administration, they are doing everything they can to make the U.S. Remain competitive on the global front, which is good. Because U.S. still needs to demonstrate its leadership not only on technology front, but on other fronts as well, in order to lead the world forward, from my perspective.